WHS 11 News at 6 beginning right now. Hello, everybody. I'm Doug Prophet. Our top story, destroyed by a huge fire just yesterday. Today, the Louisville fire chief is now ordering the emergency demolition of this apartment complex. It's known as 310 at New Lou. The 9-year-old 4-story building just east of downtown will soon be brought to the ground. New information today from the chief about the apartment residents. The number of people who lost their homes stands at 64. WHS 11's Jose Alonso has the new update from the Louisville Fire Chief Brian O'Neill. He talked about the construction of the building yesterday, so we asked him about the other apartments in the area with a similar construction type.
Fire Chief Brian O'Neill says his crews are on a fire watch here at the 310 at New Lou apartment complex. He went on to say that the next steps of this is the demolition of the building, and he also detailed what it was like navigating this fire.
You can see daylight all the way down through second floor windows, meaning there is nothing from there all the way to the roof.
Once officials determined how this fire would play out, O'Neill says he instructed his team to evacuate the building.
We're seeing the conditions. You have an attic that's fully involved from front to back and side to side. We could see, too, that the fire was clearly in some of the void spaces and floors. It was time to get those firefighters out of there.
Cleanup crews continue to remove the ashes and rubble in the streets. O'Neill says determining what caused this fire will be difficult.
They're going to have to rely on drone footage. They're going to rely on what they saw upon the initial arrival.
The Fire Prevention Bureau has put in an order for emergency demolition. It's now up to the city to plan when the structure will come down. Mayor Craig Greenberg took a moment today to address that all 64 residents impacted are being taken care of.
So we're happy to learn and report that all of the residents had renter's insurance for their apartments, which was required under their lease, and so they're working through their claims process for their insurance right now.
The complex also has other structures similar to the one that caught fire, raising concerns if this could happen again.
It's always a concern about when you see similar types of construction. Again, it's kind of an adage. It seems simplistic, but it's safe until it's not.
O'Neill says as a firefighter, they are always pushing for building codes to be stronger and wants people to always have a fire plan.
One thing to understand about lightweight truss is they can actually hold more weight than traditional construction. However, the way those trusses are thrown together, they're just that. They're lightweight, they're held together by glue, gusset plates, and they're good until they're not.
Thankfully, none of the 64 residents or firefighters were injured as they now continue forward from this loss. In Louisville, Jose Alonso, WHAS 11 on your side.
Louisville Fire Chief Brian O'Neill went on to say that the complex's management and the American Red Cross continue to help the 64 residents who lost their homes. Some of those folks are college students. The University of Louisville is helping them find temporary housing, giving them vouchers for both food and emergency supplies. Some major news also new tonight at 6 o'clock. The City of Louisville and the U.S. Department of Justice have started the Consent Decree negotiations. That's the federal agreement that will require reforms from Metro government and police. Our senior reporter Isaiah Kim Martinez is here now. And Isaiah, we're almost at the 1-year point since the DOJ came to town. We've been expecting this for quite some time.
Pretty much since then, Doug. It's been kind of on a lot of people's minds here. And you want to talk about what we learned today. And that's Louisville Mayor Craig Greenberg saying the city has received a first draft of that consent decree from the DOJ. Now, once finalized, this contract will mandate fixes to what the feds describe as years of constitutional violations by LMPD. In a statement today, Greenberg said, quote, "I am pleased to see progress being made on the consent decree as we continue to work closely with the DOJ on this effort, which I view as an urgent priority for Louisville." He continues, the DOJ report was a painful picture of LMPD's past, but it has pointed us in the right direction for our future as we make LMPD the most trained, trusted, and transparent police department in America. An interesting point here, Doug, an interesting part to this. Greenberg says the Justice Department tells him to essentially this document, this draft, it'll remain confidential as it goes through this process.
Well, let's talk about the pushback, because there is pushback. We reported on it. There have been voices from outside Louisville who have been involved in consent decree negotiations in other cities who've said, wait a second, Louisville, don't agree to everything. You need to really negotiate this. Do you sense that that's going to be happening here?
I can tell you the LMPD chief has told me that they're going to push back against anything they deem to not let them be successful going forward. short way of saying this, they want to make sure that any terms in this contract are very concise as far as what they want, and that they're easy to be measured to an ultimate end goal that they can reach.
Okay, and this negotiation could go on for a very long time.
It could last months. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, Isaiah. Right now, Louisville Metro Police are searching for the shooter who killed a man this afternoon in the South End Taylor Berry neighborhood. Officers got the call just after 1 o'clock today on Homeview Drive. That's off 7th Street. The man was dead by the time officers got there. They don't have any suspects right now, but if you know anything that can help detectives, the number to call is 574 LMPD. And this story just in late today, a Jefferson County grand jury has indicted the super chef, Darnell Ferguson, on multiple charges in connection to an alleged assault of his estranged wife. Darnell Ferguson is accused of illegally entering the woman's home and then strangling, assaulting, and threatening her. Ferguson is facing several charges, including assault, burglary, and strangulation. His arraignment is coming up, scheduled for Monday, February 26.
First thing I've learned as superintendent of JCPS, once you think you've learned it all and you know it all about leadership, you're about to get punched in the mouth.
Dr. Marty Polio at the State of the District today, acknowledging the rough start to the school year. Still, the challenges are not over. WHS 11's Ian Hardwitt and photojournalist Jessica Farley covered the speech today, where he also talked about a new proposal involving the district at the Kentucky Capitol.
Students who have the least amount of resources in their home need to have the most amount of resources in their school. If they break up JCPS, this will no longer happen. This will no longer happen.
Another state audit of JCPS is on the horizon in Frankfort, with the potential for a district split up, but it still needs approval. It's a road Superintendent Polio's been down before. 6 audits in 7 years. School Board Chair Corey Scholl echoes Polio. They're fine with another audit if it's fair.
We are against an audit with a preconceived outcome. We are not in favor of anything that is a political ploy.
In front of a crowd of educators and politicians, Polio rallied for equity and praised the district's transition to choice zones. Those let families decide if they want students to attend schools closer to home, but contributed to new routes drivers struggle to complete.
We know this. 10 years ago, we had over 950 bus drivers. Right now, we have approximately 550 bus drivers, and we are providing the same services, increase drivers or decrease routes. That's what we can do.
While they're working to hire more bus drivers, route cuts to traditional and magnet schools are possible.
More news ahead, all new tonight.